What's up, gingos? Today I just want to talk about the idea of addiction. You need to get in front of your addiction. Like, you need to, because even if the things are relatively healthy, no addiction is a good addiction. You just don't want to be dependent on anything. Anybody who has to rely on anything is not like strong in terms of like the human brain, the iron mind, nothing like that, right? So you need to be the person who's independent of everything. You don't need anything in this life. Once you become someone who needs nothing, you become so calm, so peaceful, and so powerful, right? And so, like, as of recently, I've realized, like, for a while now, I've been saying I'm addicted to the gym because I used to go for 7 days a week. I used to go for two hours. Now I go for like 3 hours. Maybe now I go 5 days a week. But it's still such an absurd amount of time. And I would tell people, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's such a good problem to have. I wish I was obsessed with the gym, this and that." But it's never just the actual thing that you're doing. It's always about what it also involves. And like, the more and more I like research into it, I do believe it was because of like how stimulating it was, right? How much dopamine I was getting through the music, through getting a workout pump, just to all the people around me, right? Just trying to competing with the guys, having the girls around there, like whatever it was, right? There was so many factors contributing to my dopamine that I was almost obsessed with the idea of going, not because I actually enjoyed working out that much. I wasn't like a gym junkie or something. It was literally just all the surrounding factors, right? And so the best way for me was to like force myself to cut out the gym for a period of time, just to see how it affects my life. And every time I do this, I always realize the same things, right? It's now I'm not sleeping as well, my diet's worse, I feel worse, my energy's off, I'm not sleeping as good. Like, my other habits that are aligned with the gym, like reading, learning a language, showering, everything, right? It just starts getting disrupted. And so the gym itself was still a good thing for me to do, but the amount of time I was spending on it and my dependency on it was horrible, right? So I forced myself to take a 4-day break, which was very rare for me, right? I haven't taken like a 4-day break in like since I started or something, right? Like, forcefully. And like, not counting holidays and like stuff like that, but even on most holidays I went. But I took that 4-day break, and it was hard to do, right? And I will be honest, it made me resort to other forms of stimulation. And I knew this was going to happen, but I was okay with it because I was testing out the big theory of what does the gym really do for me, right? And now that after I took that 4-day break, it made me realize, like, I can not go, right? And if I can just find a much more controlled amount of time to go, it's a better way that way. But I couldn't think that way when I was going into the gym, because when I was going, it was like, I have to go today, I have to go for 3 hours. It was so weird. It was like my brain was like wired to think that I needed to work out, I needed to be in there for 3 hours, and I needed to go 5 days a week, right? And as soon as I took that break, it's like that like wiring got like disrupted, it got broken or whatever, and now I'm able to think a lot more clearly, right? And so now I'm like, okay, what else am I possibly addicted to, right? And so even more recently, like, this is like just this week, I drink coffee at work every day, right? And not because I was like a coffee addict or whatever. I used to drink coffee before, just cold brews, just to go to the gym on an empty stomach, right? Because when you drink coffee, it suppresses your appetite and it gives you a little bit of caffeine energy, whatever, right? So I used to drink it at work as well, just to like get me to wake up or whatever. And because it was available, it was free, it was whatever, right? And this past weekend, I had like a coffee at home on Saturday, but on Sunday, I didn't drink any coffee because I just ran out. And then on Sunday and Monday, I kept falling asleep throughout the whole day, right? Every time I laid down, I fell asleep. And every time I woke up, I wanted to eat junk food, right? And I was like, this is so weird. Like, literally, when I would sleep, I would try to wake up, and it literally felt like I was trapped in my dream. Like, someone was like, sleep, sleep. Like, I was like forced to sleep. And so I was like, this is weird. Like, this can't be real. Like, there has to be something like tweaking inside my body, right? And like, when I did some research, there was a possibility that it was caffeine withdrawal causing me to be excessively sleepy, because that's not typically me. I'm not an excessively sleepy person, right? Especially in the middle of the day. Even after I slept for 8-9 hours, I was still sleepy. And every time I took those naps, I was still sleepy, right? And so it was definitely weird. And so when I did the research, I do believe it was caffeine withdrawal. And now, not only am I testing how my body and my brain reacts to no caffeine, I'm cutting it out, because I haven't drank soda in 6 years. It was a big contributor to why I was so fat before. And apparently I didn't drink soda, not for the caffeine, but for like the taste. I was addicted to it, right? But now I'm not. I feel like I was drinking coffee for the caffeine. It was very stimulating. It gave me excess amount of energy. It kept my brain wired, and I was essentially dependent on it. I felt like I couldn't think or think through things. It helped me process things faster, and so like those benefits, I'm gonna be a little bit like missing, I guess. But I feel like I can get myself to start thinking faster without it, because you shouldn't be dependent on anything. I was thinking properly before I had coffee, so why can't I do it without it again, right? It's just a matter of working through it, right? Just because it was happening for a little while, it's because it was happening while you were doing it, but now you can just like don't even try weeding off of it. I think anything you want to like cut off as an addiction, you need to cut it off right away, because weeding off of it does not work. It's just you're still taking small bits of it, and eventually one day you'll just take a big one, and then you just break forever. When it rains, it pours, right? So now I'm testing out caffeine withdrawal, and I feel like it's definitely already like in the past. I've seen what other people said, and they say you sleep better, you have less anxiety, less stress, you're less dependent. And like as of from like that, just the past 2-3 days, I'm already sleeping only 7 hours, but I'm waking up a lot easier. I'm not taking midday naps, but my energy levels are a little bit low so far. But that's what I'm tracking, and I'm seeing how my mind operates and things. But yeah, just don't become dependent on anything. Don't rely on anything. And another just in what tying into all of this, don't get overstimulated or tied to the overstimulation of anything, right? Being overstimulated by anything is bad, right? Like TikTok overstimulates you. For me personally, when I watch music videos, it overstimulates me because the music already, it is stimulating, and then with the music video, especially like modern day videos, you know how explicit it is or whatever, it's just way too stimulating. And then when your mind becomes dependent on those things, that's what your brain starts thinking about, and that's where your thoughts wrap around, right? Like when these people tell you, like these like gurus or whatever, and they say like the music you listen to really does affect you, it really does. Because as I've been like trying to avoid rap music and hip hop music and pop or whatever, and just been listening to like much more slow music or no music at all, I can feel my brain not thinking about the things that they constantly repeat in those videos. And it's nice because you start thinking like a real human, and not some like manufactured thinking that's like rapid. And all these music are made with manufacturing to make your brain constantly want to hear it, because that's how they get their money, right? Through loops and streams or whatever, right? So if they can, it's like, it's almost like propaganda. If they can feed into what your mind likes, you're constantly playing in. That's what makes them more money, right? They don't care about you because they don't see you. Nonetheless, don't try, avoid anything that stimulates you a lot. Really trying to track where you like. That's why it's such a good thing to do dopamine detox, because then you can really start sensing what stimulates you very heavily, and then you avoid those things, especially if they're not positive, or you control them. Like the gym stimulates me, but because I still believe it's a good habit, I'm just cutting down, controlling how much I'm getting stimulated by, right? I'm trying to think of like ways, like I'm not working out as long, I'm not doing as much weightlifting, I'm trying to switch out music for podcasts. Like I'm gonna start doing a bunch of different things. Before it, I'm not gonna like eat too much, because food's also a stimulating thing. Nonetheless, control your addictions, control your stimulation. It'll help you in the long run, and in the end, we're all gonna win.